Greetings, I am Vasudeva Das, French-born, living in India, and today standing before you in Belgium. When I first came to Radhadesh, I had planned to stay for 3 days, just to attend the celebration of Lord Krishna's birth in this world 5,000 years ago. But when a doctor advised me to stop traveling for 3 weeks, I welcomed the opportunity to take a closer look into the heart of this spiritual community. What follows is what I have discovered. The first wonder, you can't miss it even if you wanted to. It's the Chateau de Petit-Somme, located near Durbuy in French-speaking Belgium. After the chateau had undergone many years of disuse and vandalism, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness acquired the derelict property in 1979. Faithful members started renovating, having to learn just about every skill to do with the restoration of ancient monuments. It took many years of hard work, not to mention that until completion of the project, the devotees also had to collect the required funds. Meanwhile, they continued their monastic lifestyle and practices in and around the castle. Today, even the massive stone facades have been scraped clean. But let's now venture inside the castle. As I'm about to walk up to the main entrance, I am greeted by a little girl who says her name is Varshana. Hello, Varshana. What lovely woolies you've got. I then see more bright young faces. These are some of the community's college students. This young woman, though, has completed her 8-year study in Bharatanatyam dance. I find her performing for visitors just as I enter the main hall. Most casual visitors like these book a guided tour of the castle, so I'm quick to join them in admiring the stately interiors. I learned that the first Chateau de Petit-Somme was built in the 13th century, although it's been rebuilt 4 times since. Today's elegant structure took years to conceive and construct, around 1890. The interior was decorated in a mixture of French styles, Louis XIV, the Regency and Louis XVI. Finally, it was carefully restored in its present condition in the 1980s by the Krishna devotees.
In keeping with the classical interiors of the castle, the devotees have put up an impressive collection of devotional classics from India.
This painting was done by Ramdas, a famous Hare Krishna artist. His service was to illustrate ISKCON publications. This painting is from Udaipur, Rajasthan, North India.
After the painting gallery, we are now in a room dedicated to the Hare Krishna movement's founder, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. This room shows how, at the advanced age of 70, Prabhupada began his worldwide spiritual mission. Leaving India with only a box of holy books, he landed in New York alone and penniless. It was not until after a full year of endeavor, and despite his failing health, that Prabhupada began to rally members and initiate disciples. Within a decade, these followers numbered in the hundreds and thousands. And with their assistance, Prabhupada opened over 100 centers around the world. His other remarkable feat was this.
Srila Prabhupada's books have been translated in over 50 languages.
Within 45 years, the unthinkable amount of 450 million books were sold by the BBT, Prabhupada's own book trust. That's an average of 10 million books a year, going directly into people's homes. Inspired by Prabhupada's leadership, his followers at Radhadesh hardly have time to sit on their chateau's stylish couches. Nor do we. Spiraling our way up the tower top, this is the guided tour's next feature. Back downstairs, it's time to indulge our senses of smell and taste at Nadia Bihari's bakery. This is many a pilgrim's favorite stop on the tour. The antique artwork pieces featured at the Sacred Art Museum were brought from India with great endeavor. More art is available at Radhadesh's boutique. A welcoming bronze statue of the goddess of the arts, Saraswati, stands 4 feet high at the entrance. And unlike similar artwork in the museum, this is the kind you can take home. The boutique offers countless trinkets and handicrafts, most of them again from India. This is the community's guest house, where I stayed during my first week at Radhadesh. Bhagavati, the host, also has the brightest of smiles on her motherly face.
No, you're the one with the big smiles. Yeah, I do need to understand.
No, bigger than that.
Big smiles.
I quickly got acquainted with other visitors, of all walks of life. 3 students from Brussels, Hink, a hospital therapist from Deventer in Holland, a family from Switzerland who drove all the way for a week's holiday.
Do you come here many times?
No, it's first time we came here because the kids have now holiday.
The residence refectory is a great social place where you keep meeting the same people. Hare Krishna cuisine is strictly vegetarian. The kitchen specializes in what can only be called sumptuous spiritual food. I call it seriously scrumptious, actually. Dishes are cooked for the Lord's pleasure and offered on the temple's altar. It is then called Maha Prasad, which means spiritual nourishment. Once mixed with larger amounts in communal containers, it is served out to the resident devotees and their many guests. "30 years since it was purchased, Radhadesh boasts a cosmopolitan community of about 100 permanent members. "90% of the residents are families who have either bought or are renting houses in and around the adjoining hamlet of Petit-Somme. The community's income comes from the services Radhadesh offers to its annual 20,000 to 30,000 visitors. Also, located opposite the little church in the hamlet is Bhaktivedanta Library Services, one of the largest suppliers of publications and goods for Krishna devotees around the world. Here you can find a large supply of all Prabhupada's books, find new prints of all classics by previous masters, as well as by his followers and other contemporary authors of spiritual literature. You will find Indian musical instruments and various paraphernalia, which can all be ordered from blservices.com. Finally, BLS director Vishnu Murti Das has a few words to say about his latest grand project, Vanipedia.
To further increase the availability of Srila Prabhupada's teachings, Vanipedia is taking advantage of the collaborative opportunities that the World Wide Web develops to engage thousands of devotees from all over the planet to create an unparalleled repository of Srila Prabhupada's teachings for the benefit of everyone.
Very nice, you might say, but what about basic education for Hare Krishna toddlers and teens? Radhadesh has 2 playgrounds and a Sunday school for 2 to 6-year-olds. For conventional education, children are sent to local schools and to university if they choose to pursue higher education. Alternatively, there is Bhaktivedanta College, which is accredited and caters for students of all nationalities. It's an English medium college and with 2 large buildings, accommodation for staff and students, classrooms, offices, and a library specializing in philosophy, religion and Indian culture. We meet college principal Yadunandan Swami. So Maharaj, what is this college about?
We offer students a preparation for a lifetime. A main feature of Bhaktivedanta College is that we integrate academic education, professional training, and a focus on character development of the students. We combine material education and spiritual growth.
Along with character development in moral and ethical values, students may join the Bhakti Yoga training, which starts in the early hours, before dawn. The first rendezvous is in the castle's temple room at 4:30 sharp, when the deity's curtains open to a room full of the more disciplined followers. Occasionally, curious visitors wrench themselves out of bed so as not to miss out on the ceremonial or on some of the 2-hour mantra meditation. On beads, that is. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, After the deities have been bathed, dressed, decorated, and fed a breakfast cooked by expert priests, the curtains open a second time at 7:15 for the community to welcome the Lord in to a new day. This is called darshan, admiring the deities in all their splendor.